So in our previous session, we learned about the what is the cycle of the business intelligence and what is the importance of the business intelligence. In today's lecture, we are going to learn about the basic building block of the business report. So this is the structure of the building block of business report, where as we know that we use the data warehouse for storing data and extract the data. After that, this is the structure of the table. So as we know that the common database or the common column structure we use is, for example, the Excel. Okay. So in Excel, the data stored in table format, or we can say that data stored in tabular format, where the number of columns and rows are given. The columns is also known as the field, like item ID, dollar, sales, and cost. These are my column, and the actual data is stored in row format. And whatever the values are stored in the column, or we can say whatever values stored in the table, is known as the fact. Accessing the data. So what is meant by the fact? This is one of the most essential elements within the business data model. So as we learn about the data modeling concept, to design the model, we need the facts. Facts is nothing but the values. They relate numeric data values from the data warehouse to the MicroStrategy reporting environment. Okay, so what is meant by facts? These are nothing but the values which are extracted from the data warehouse. It generally represents the answer to the business question on which user want to report. So what is use of the fact? So it allows user to access the data stored in data warehouse. Facts from the basis of metrics which are used in majority of the analysis and the report. Okay. So whenever we have to do analysis or whatever report you want to design on your dashboard, values plays the important role. You must know the values and the insight behind that values. So along with the facts, the attributes are also necessary to define the any kind of the project. So this is the structure of the attributes and the facts. So at later I'll show you the practical demonstration of the modeling phase of the dashboard. Okay, so this is the representation of the building block of business report. Whatever data is stored, we have to design the like DFT model. We have to design the DFT model, and we have to define the relationship between the data or the records. So the first, this diagram represents the logical model view of the data. Then after that, as store in single database. So we have to define the relationship between these tables, and the format of the table is table having the column 1, column 2 or n number of columns for each table, and this is the detailed representation of the column, whatever the schema objects are given, and we have to retrieve our facts from the schema. So again, facts store the attribute, hierarchies and the transformations. Okay, so this is the representation of the fact. Suppose, for example, how to define the fact. Suppose the amount of sales represent the fact, as we know that we are referring the data of the superstore model, where the number of sales, profit, discount are given. Okay, so the amount of sales represent the fact, and the store and month represent the attribute. Like we can say for our superstore database, we can consider month as a, we can say that the date of the month. Okay, so these are the attributes. And whenever we have to design any kind of data, we have to must create the project that contain the facts and attributes. Basically, the facts are stored in the data warehouse in fact table as shown in the tabular representation in data warehouse. These fact table are composed of different columns as shown here. Okay, so fact may contain the different columns. Each cell in the column represents a specific piece of information. Means each column store the different values. That values are nothing but the facts. And using the facts, we can retrieve the value from the column. After that, we have to focus on what kind of reports are used in our business. Okay. So basically, what is meant by the report? A business report is an evaluation of a particular issue, set of circumstances, or financial operation that relate to the performance of a business. Suppose we are considering whenever you have defining any kind of case studies, you have designing the case study report on a given problem statement, right? So this is nothing but the summary, whatever you have read from that paper, whatever information you have extracted from that paper or particular case study, and you have designed the summary of that paper in form of the case study. What is the purpose of the report? So basically, it is used to communicate relevant information briefly and efficiently in response to an executive of the company. Okay, and the report is used as an organization. So there are 4 to 5 types of the business report. In that, the first one is the quarterly report. So what is meant by the quarterly report? Basically, it is a summary or collection of unquantitated financial statements such as balance sheet, income statement, cash flow statement that issued by the company in every quarter. So quarter means what? 3 months. Okay. So this report is created by completion of the 3 months, and it having the common topics which are related to the financial statement, progress measure against the annual goals, sales pipeline status updates, etc. So why we use the quarterly report? What it reviews? It also used in business to business relationship as a measure of effectiveness. If service costs are more than it produces in quarter, a review is imperative to restore the margin and profitability. So we can say that to take a follow-up of the whatever activities are conducted during these 3 months, that report is generated. Then the next one is the annual report. So this report involves the information like general corporate information, operating and financial highlights, and the summary of the financial data. So basically, this report is used when shareholders have a stake in the business. And also for the annual report, we can consider all the operations related to the finance. This report shows the sales and final profitability or loss against the annual goals, painting a clear picture of a performance across the entire year. So for this, we can consider your year-wise result. Okay. So whatever result is summary or the result for that specific year. Then the next type is the earnings and the financial forecast. So it involves Again, all the operations related to the finance, accounting department work to build useful financial report as a standalone document. So this report collect all financial data which is used to show the exact profit and loss statement. Okay. Then the next type is the legal or regularity report. So basically, these reports are required and generated to serve a legal or regularity purpose. Why we use these reports? Why it requires? It requires highly specific information to ensure a company is following the regularity guidelines and reporting the financial that are required by the laws. So all the rules and regulations are followed by this report. Again, there are some other reports. In that, the most important one are the formal report and the informal report. So, what is meant by the formal report? It is prepared in a prescribed format and presented before the competent authority in an established procedure. These reports are submitted by officials or committees of the constituted bodies, and so this is called as the formal report. For example, what are the formal reports? The reports which are generated by the companies or the corporate societies or the local bodies of the organization. Then the next type is the informal report. So informal means what? This report is prepared in format of the convenience of the reporter and presented directly before the required person as and when demanded. Informal report is presented as in the form of letter or MOU. So generally it takes the form of the person to person communication. So the live scenario is that our department is currently correlated with the seven organizations, which including the academic as well as the private one. Okay, and we have signed the MOUs with that organization, which gives us some benefits. So this is the informal. Now these are the benefits of the BAI. Just read it. Then the advanced DSS, as we know that we use the BI in the DSS space. Then it provides the better customer support, better customer satisfaction, increase the profitability. Then it is a time saving, cost saving. It helps in the better strategies and planning. This is well organized process, better for the employee satisfaction and effective and timely decision. Then these are some BI tools. Just note down it. The first one is the SAS 5, then Click 4, then Synsense 3, MS Power BI 2, and Tableau 1. Then the next one is the quite theoretical, whether we have to define the structure of the business report. Okay, like we start with you the case study report format. Then the particular contents are defined in the Word file that what are the requirement or what are the fields are necessary while creating the report. Same way here, the content of the reports are given, and in this way, the organization must design their reports. Okay. So in that, the first one is the title. So as we know that the title is very important while designing the report. So what title should include? It must state the aim of the report. It can also include your name and date of presenting the report. After that, the contents. So if the report is lengthy, you should include a table of contents. As we know that instead of reading the number of lines, reading the data from the table is easy. Then, what should we include in the table or in the content? In this section, list the chapter and corresponding section heading. Then you should also include a page number for every row in table of the content. So as we know that how to design the table and how to enter the data into the table. After that, the executive summary. So in executive summary, it always good practice to include an executive summary stating the aim and purpose of the report. Okay. So instead of the detailed information of any task, just we have to summarize the information in the form of the points. Then next we have to include the introduction. Then you have to include the whatever procedure or method of gathering the information. Then what is the findings? So in findings we have to write down or we have to mention whatever observation we have concluded from that report. Okay. So just we have to mention the experts of the industry, what are the opinion of the expert of the industry, what is the consumer report, statistical data and the observation. And at the end, we have to include the conclusion. Again, the sum of the assessment is included in the conclusion. Then we have to list out our references and the appendices. So this is the general format of the content of the report. Okay. So that's it for the theory point of view. Then today we are going to learn about the tree map. So open your Tableau setup. Previously we learned the heat map. So basically for the classification purpose we use the heat map and we can compare our data with the help of the size and the color. Okay. So as we know that this is the example of the heat map. Okay, so darker color gives us the more profit and the larger size of the rectangle gives us the more sales. So moving to a chart, that is tree map. So what is meant by the tree map? Tree map display data in nested rectangles. The dimension define the structure of the tree map and measures define the size or color of the individual rectangle. Okay. So we can say that both are the same, heat map and tree map. Both gives us the color, both gives us the differentiate of a data in form of the color and size. But the difference is that in tree map, it gives us the hierarchical information. So hierarchical information means what? Suppose the data of the furniture is given. As we know that there are three subcategories of the main categories. Okay, so furniture. So whenever we are considering the furniture, first step, then it also having subcategories. So furniture having like tables, chairs, or whatever other cupboards. Okay, so these are the subcategories of the furniture. So we can say that the category is my main. We can say that in form of the root. Okay, as we know that the hierarchical structure in form of the root, then subtypes, again subtypes. So first it gives means the category. Then category again having hierarchical structure, it having subcategory. Again the subcategory, like for the current scenario, the category is my first field. Then I am going to the subcategory. Again subcategory having the furniture, supplies, technologies. Again furniture having the chair, tables, etc. Okay. So the tree map gives us the data in form of the hierarchical manner. So suppose we have to create the tree map that shows the aggregated sales across a range of the product category. So as we know that for creating the tree map, we require dimension and the measures. So as in the problem statement, we have to show the aggregated sales. Sales is nothing but my measure and the range of the product category is my dimension. So I can easily extracted these values from my data set. Okay, so firstly this is the tree map. I hope it is visible to all of you. Okay, so this is the tree map. As mentioned below, tree map required one or more dimension and one or two measures. Okay, so as we already got one dimension and one measure from our problem statement, that is sales is my measure and the product category is my dimension. Okay, so I am going to pick. Suppose I am going to pick subcategory as a column. In product we have a subcategory as a column. So these are the different subcategories and I require the sales as per the problem statement and pick the cells over here. Okay, so by default it create the bar chart, but I require the tree map. So just click here, tree map. Okay, so this is the representation of the tree map. The phone, this is my subcategory. Again the chair is the different subcategory, storage is the different subcategories, like this. Okay, so if I am considering the papers, again it having the supplies and the art. So like this we can create our tree map, okay, which is in form of the rectangles. So instead of this, okay. So one more note here regarding the tree map. In the tree map, both the size of the rectangle and their color are determined by the values of the cells. The greater the sum of the cells for each category, the darker and larger of each box. Okay, so just click over here. So as we know that the phones, chairs having the highest values, so we are trying to show the largest rectangle over here. Suppose the subcategory chair having this sales value 3,28,000 and having the 3,30,000. Okay. So like this, we can easily identify that the phones having the highest sales, after that chairs, after that storage tables, like this. Okay. So with the help of this visualization, we can easily find out the average value of the sales for each subcategory. Instead of subcategory, we can put the category over there. So suppose I am going to put the category in my columns and the sum of sales in my rows. Okay, but as we know that there are only three categories, and suppose I am going to click on the tree map. Okay, so it will gives me the aggregate sales wise or category wise sales. Okay, so as we know that the category having the three fields only, that is first one is the technology, then furniture, and then the office supplies. Okay, so this is the more darker and the larger one, so we can say that the sales technology is having the highest sales, after that the furniture, and after that the office supplies. Understood what is mean by the tree map and how to represent it? You can pick according to problem statement, we have to pick it. Okay, I am going to repeat it once. I am going to clear it. Okay, so what is my problem statement? Firstly, you have to focus on the problem statement. Okay, so as we know that my problem statement is I have to create the tree map for the aggregated sales across a range of product category. Okay, so what I am going to do, I am going to select the product category and click on column, and I have to find out the aggregated sales. That's why I'm going to pick the sales over here. Okay, by default it gives me the bar chart, but I want to design the tree map. So just click on the tree map. By default it create the tree map, and darker and maximum sales, I am going to pick the profit. Okay, instead of sales I need to draw the profit. Just pick profit over there, category at the column, and click on the tree map. So it will give me the profit wise tree map. Again the technology having the highest profit, then office supplies, and then furniture. Okay, so it will change the view of the chart according to whatever dimensions and measures you have dragged on the columns and rows field. Okay, suppose I am going to pick the ship date in the color. Okay, so it will change the overview of the color as per the ship date. So it will gives us the latest one first, that is ship date 2021. Again, this one is for 2021. This is for 2020. Like this. Like this, we can represent our tree map. Okay. Now, why the year is mentioned over here? Because I have dragged the year field into the label. That's why it display me the year value over here. Okay. Though the block size is small, the values of the year is not displayed over here. So we can click on the presentation mode. Okay. So like this, we can represent our data. Okay, so try to build the tree map on your system and let me know after completion. And you have to design the tree map for the discount over subcategory. Discount over subcategory. Everybody should try to implement the tree map. Let me know after completion. Till time only 46 students have enrolled for my Moodle site. Remaining student kindly register as soon as possible because I am going to share quiz 1 soon on my Moodle site. So everybody should register. I hope you are able to draw a tree map for the given problem statement. Okay, so what we have to do, I am going to clear it. So what I want to do, I want to display the discount wise subcategory. Okay, so just drag the subcategory in column and the discount in row and just click on show me chart. and click on the tree map. Okay, so in this way we can easily find out the largest subcategory where we got the discount. Okay, so it is display in a rectangular format. So it will gives us both values, the size and the color. Whenever the size is big and the color is darker, then we can easily identify that items having the highest discount. After that, the phones, then the furnishing tables like this. Okay, so just we have to consider the size as well as the color. Okay, so as this is the darker one as compared to these three, for these three, though the color is same, but the size of the rectangles are changed. Okay, same for this. The color is the same, but the size is the change. Again here, the color is same, but the size is the difference. So in this way, we can create the tree map. So the major difference between both is that heat map is used to compare the category using the color and signs, where tree map is used to represent the hierarchical data. The space in the view is divided into rectangle that are size and order by the measure. Okay, measure is nothing but these values, the value on which we can perform the operations. Okay, and again the dimension means the column name.